In this video, we're going to create this simple character counter using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So like the video, hit the subscribe button, and let's get it done. Alright, now we have our HTML snippets here. The title is character counter. Let's create a, let's first link our CSS file and JavaScript file. So link style, and to the bottom, we add script and src script.js. Very good. Now we actually start creating our project here. So let's create a this has actually a very simple design. So we create a we create a div with the class of container. Inside the container, we create a p tag. We say characters, and then we put 0, but let's put 0 inside the span. And now under that, let's create a text area. Let's delete these attributes inside the text area, and that's it. So now we have this p tag and this text area. Now let's deal with the styling. Let's go to style CSS. Let's give it a default style of margin 0, padding 0, and then box sizing should be border box, and text decoration should be none. But you know, they don't matter because, as I told you, this is actually a very simple project. But let's give it a font family of Roboto. That's it. Now let's give the body a display of flex, justify content center, align item center, and the height should be 100 view height. Now for the container, let's give it a display of flex, justify content first. Let's give it a flex direction of column, and then align items of not align items, justify content of center, and then let's give it a width of 100%. Now let's give the body a padding of 0 and 10%. Very good. So now let's go for the container p tag. We're going to give it a font size of 25 pixels. Let's give it a let's give the span, container p span, a font weight of 900, and let's give it a color of orange. Now let's go back to the body because we actually want to make the project dark. So let's give it a background color of 2935 3C, and let's give it a color of DFEBF6. Very good. Well, now let's go for the container text area, and that should have a height of 200 pixels. Let's give it a border radius of 10 pixels. Let's give it a margin top of 10 pixels. Let's give it a border none, and outline none, and then let's give it a resize none. Very good. We should actually give it a padding of 20 pixels. And now let's give it a font size of 19 pixels. Let's give it a well, I think we're pretty much done with that. Let's go back to our HTML and let's give it a placeholder of type your text here. This is it. Very good. Now we're done with the UI of the project, so let's go for the JavaScript. All right, now before we go to JavaScript, please come to this span and give it an ID of count, ID count. And also let's come to this text area and give it an ID of text. So this span should have an ID of count, and this text area should have an ID of text. Now in JavaScript, let me open this JavaScript file here. Now we have our HTML here. So let's Let me make this smaller. Okay, better. Now let's select our first variable, which is the count, this span with the ID of count. So we say const, const counter is equal to document.getElement by ID, and then let's get the ID of count, which is this span. Now for the next one, we say const text area, we're going to call it text area, is equal to document.getElement again by ID, and the ID of text area is actually text. And that's it. Now, to make this work, that when we type in here, the number of characters show up in this number, in this character's number, let's create an event listener with a text area, add event listener, then our event listener is going to be an input, and then let's create a function. All right, now you should write counter, the text content is equal to text area dot value dot length. Perfect. Now it says that this counter, which is this span with the number of 0, it actually looks at this text area value, whatever value is inside that, length. So it's going to actually look at the length of the value. So if I start typing here, you can see that my character counter starts working and increases the counter. Now, one problem is that if I put white spaces, it's going to count white spaces as well. This is something I wouldn't want I wouldn't want to have in my application. So what I like to do is to actually make that right. So let me close this one. So let me make this one bigger. So we don't have to actually change any of these. This is correct. This should be the same. This is the same. Now inside this event listener, what we need to do is to create a new variable. So we're gonna remove all white spaces before counting. So I'm gonna create a variable const text without spaces. Then we're gonna get the text area value, and then we're gonna replace it with this phrase. So you put this phrase inside your replace method. You can just type it out, copy and paste it, whatever you like. And for the last line, which is counter text area, text content, text area value length, all you have to do is to copy this variable text without spaces and paste it here and delete this value. So you have directly text without spaces dot length. Now, if you start typing, you see that this character counter is working. Now, if you start putting spaces, you can see that this doesn't count, or it doesn't matter if you put spaces at the beginning. If you put spaces in between the characters, it doesn't count spaces as the characters. But when you start typing actual characters, numbers, I don't know, whatever, it actually counts it. But one space actually, or many spaces, they don't count.